How's it going, everybody? I hope y'all are doing well. I'm going to rant on this EBT situation for a minute here. This SNAP benefits, government shutdown, kind of BS thing that's going on. There's a lot of facets to this. I'm going to get into all those. Well, I'm going to get into as many as I can think of to get into. But first of all, I think that there's something that is revealed here in this whole situation that we can all probably agree on, or at least think about. Now, I've seen the Republicans blame the Democrats. The Democrats blame Donald Trump. People on social media love to blame Donald Trump for everything. I don't think that he's free of guilt in this situation. I'm not saying that. And I'm not saying, but here's the thing. All of these guys are playing games with people's lives, man. They're playing games with people's lives. Now, many things can be true at the same time. Yes, there are people who abuse the food stamps. It's been that way for a long time. Who do you think allows that to happen? Do you think they could figure out that this is happening and stop it? Right? And at the same time, there are people who genuinely rely on this assistance. Maybe they've hit a hard time in their life, and this is just the 2 months out of their life that they need a little bit of help, right? Or, they have some situation where they can't work at all. There's children involved. There are children who eat food that, comes from these benefits. Okay, can't blame the children. So for everybody out there, I understand and I hear you about the benefits being abused. And I think that's a huge problem because I think it hurts people who actually need help. I really do. That being said, you can't just cut this stuff off, right? Because the government has allowed it to get to a point where a lot of people rely on this. Guys, they could probably stop the abuse of the system if they really wanted to. Right? If they really means tested everybody or whatever, figure out who's I guess selling the food stamps. I guess you could do that. I'm not sure how all that works, man. I don't know how people get into getting so much assistance and stuff like that fraudulently, but whatever, man. I think they could probably stop it if they really wanted to. They're not doing that. Maybe they will. But they've allowed this situation to become what it is, and so now it's their baby, and look at what's happening. They're arguing over it back and forth, trying to make the other side look bad. Donald Trump's trying to make Schumer look bad. Schumer's, pointing the finger at Donald Trump, right? Guys, if they really wanted to solve this situation, I'm pretty sure they could probably get together in a room somewhere and say, okay, you know what? We'll do the SNAP benefits. We'll get that funded, and we'll make the decision on all these other things. We'll argue about this, as time goes on later, and we'll figure this out. But for now, we'll take care of make sure the people are fed, right? I will say this, guys, we've got to try our best, every single one of us out here, not to be reliant on the government, or to be as least reliant on the government as we could possibly be, guys. You cannot, this is proof that you can't rely on these people, okay? And they don't have your best interest at heart. So if you're in a situation where you're on the fence and you maybe could start doing some things to become more self-reliant, it might be a good idea to try to start doing that. Everybody can't do that. I understand that. And that's why these things exist. These are social programs, but if they've pushed people into the point where so many people rely on this stuff that, they'll vote for, extreme socialism, for example, right? I think this is kind of part of the agenda, and I think both sides are in on it. I think both sides of the Republicans and the Democrats are in on this together. So I wouldn't get too tribal on this thing. I really wouldn't. Because I see where both of them are messing people up. Same with the immigration situation. Guys, the Democrats allowed everybody coming into this country, all those people to come in, and they encouraged it to be done illegally. And they did that knowing that the day would come when these people would be swept up by ICE agents. They knew that. These guys aren't stupid, man. They're not stupid. Donald Trump is not stupid. He might be greedy. He might have an ego issue. I'm sure he does. Okay, he maybe wants to hang out with kings and queens and things like that. But I don't think stupid necessarily. Maybe easily manipulated by the ego, but I don't think stupid. Same thing with the Democrats, right? I don't think they're dumb. People need to wake up, man. These people are working together, and the agenda keeps rolling. It keeps going on down the road in the same direction. So they don't care about us. They don't care about you or me. That's the take that I get from it. Neither side. And do your best to not be relying on the government. We need to help our family. We need to help our friends and neighbors in any way we can, I guess, and I think that people, I've seen churches, I'm not big on, organized religion necessarily, but I've seen churches be way more effective than the government in many cases, especially like quick moving. They can get donations, they could get those donations out a lot quicker than the government can. They talk about the benefits, so they're going to turn on like half the benefits or a limited amount of SNAP benefits. I think today they were talking about, but they said it's going to take a long time for that to move through the system, so it could take a few days or whatever. Government moves slow. They're not efficient, guys. So if you really need help, likely chances you're not going to get it from them at first. It's going to be one of these churches or some food bank, something like that, or friends, family, neighbors, whatever. So we got to stick together a little bit. We really do. Forget about the political sides. They're playing us off against one another. And at the end of the day, any bit of energy that you put into this political, my side is better than this side and this, and look, guys, I lean a little more conservative for sure, no doubt about it. But I see where that has been co-opted, right? That's been co-opted by people and individuals in the Republican Party who don't even have those values. Guys, Trump is way more left than Bill Clinton ever was. Let's put it that way. He's basically Joe Biden at this point, man. I mean, look at the policies, man. Really. Other than immigration, which seems like nobody was in the House at all. No, there was nobody upstairs, really, for immigration for the last, administration. I think that was on purpose. I think it was by design. Knowing that this administration would come in doing what it's doing, and that paints a picture, and then that picture is going to be used to push another narrative, and then that narrative is going to be used to push another agenda, and that agenda is going to be used to push through, you get what I'm saying, and so on and so forth. Same with this EBT thing. So they're going to make Trump look bad on this one, but at the same time, the Democrats are going to look bad too, because guys, they could come together. They really could. And I think one of the reasons that they're holding off the aid is that, a lot of other benefits, not just the food stuff, but like health benefits and things like that, a large portion of those go to people who are not even citizens of this country. So that's also true. That is also true at the same time, and probably an issue. There's not an unlimited amount. When the government's pulling stuff like this, there's not an unlimited amount of resources. I mean, maybe there are more resources than what they're putting forth, but we can see, there's an issue. There's an issue right now. So, yeah, despite the fact that a lot of people are abusing these systems, there are people who need these benefits. And so they're being hurt by this whole back and forth, the fighting, the political fighting. This is just the left-right paradigm playing out. And so I'm not going to get tribal on this one. I'm not going to sit there and say it's 100% the Democrats' fault or it's 100% Donald Trump's fault. I'm not going to do that, because that's not the case, guys. They're playing this game together. If you can't see that, it's time to wake up. All right. It's my rant on the EBT. If you know anybody needs help, help them, man. Maybe reach out, see how people are doing. We got to take care of each other. Okay? Sometimes you're down, sometimes you're up, right? Either way, we got to take care of each other. But that being said, I'm going to end the video here, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and we'll catch you on the next one. I'm out.